Gwen from Hummingbird Tarot, and I thought I would talk about my March decks and a recap of what's going on in this neck of the woods. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell so you're notified every week when I upload a new video. So yes, I am a Harry Potter fan, and I'm wearing my Gryffindor shirt because that's what I put on when I got up this morning, and I didn't feel like changing, so what a month. What a month. It's been a crazy month. There's been a lot going on, and let's get right into it. I found for the month of March, the month probably started off a little differently, and then I switched. Even though we actually weren't quarantined here until probably halfway through March, things were still a little hairy before that. I found myself falling on my old standards. A lot of these decks show up in my Hug Decks video that I made. They're ones that I went to that I don't have to think about when I use them. I know what they mean for the most part. There's one deck that's a new one that I've been playing with, just trying to distract myself by learning phases of the moon. It's a newer deck to me. I don't know it very well, so I'm spending some time to learn it. But I'll go through the decks here, and then I'll give you an update of what's going on with me. The first deck that I've talked about before is the Book of Shadows Tarot, and this is the So Below deck. It's a 2-deck set, As Above and So Below, and this is the So Below deck. And I will put information about all these decks in the notes for the show. I actually have this one in order because I'm going to be doing a recording of this one for the RWS series that I have. But this one, this was my first soulmate deck where I just really connected with this one on a real deep level intuitively, and really felt like this deck was meant for me. It's almost like when they made it with me in mind. This is what the back of the deck looks like. I just really appreciate and love this deck. I use it a lot. There's that one there. I made a video of this one recently, and I was playing with it. I kind of rediscovered it and considered fixing it. This is the Druid Craft deck, and I recorded a video because I had butchered this deck and I loved it, and I'd been playing with it and considering fixing it. And then once I did fix it, I feel like I've rediscovered this deck all over again. And I'm sure you've seen the images in this deck before, but this is my newly trimmed version. And I had originally just trimmed off the white borders, and I did a bad job because the paper cutter that I had didn't work very well for me. So then I went back and I trimmed off. There was still was a white border, and then a green nature looking border that was around that, and I went back a second time and just trimmed everything that wasn't just the image. I'll put that video linked down below too. This is what the back of this deck looks like. And it's almost like when you get a new phone case, your phone just feels brand new, that kind of a feeling to it. It's familiar and comforting, and you recognize it, while at the same time it's new and exciting again. So that's what this deck feels like. This is the one that I've been playing with, that it's newer to me. It's the Queen of the Moon Oracle. This goes into the phases of the moon. The back of the deck looks like this, and I guess here's the box for that. I showed you the book a second ago, but I appreciate this one. I had intended to I'm starting to try to memorize the cards, but I'm finding that I'm so distracted lately that it's hard, and I end up just going to the book and opening up the book and seeing what the deeper meanings are when I'm using it. And I may pull several cards or just one card. They're super reflective. Sorry, I'm trying to do it at an angle here. I really like the images in this deck, and the messages are straight and to the point, so you don't really need the book, but I do appreciate where the author is coming from, the deeper explanations in the book, and so I am finding myself using the book for that a lot. And then I have the I Am Power Oracle deck. This deck had, I think, about 100 cards that came with it. I've got a smaller collection here, but I just love the messages are straight and to the point, and they really get to the heart of the matter. And usually what I want to hear, just an affirmation reminding me of strengths that I have. There's the I Am Power one. And this is something I find I've been doing this almost every day. I haven't been doing a lot of readings for myself. But what I do find, other than the daily pull, I would do a lot more readings for myself than I have been doing. And I've been doing less readings for other people too. And it's just something in the atmosphere. And then my go-to, this is one of my favorite Rider-Waite-Smith decks, the Radiant Rider-Waite version. And there's the back of the deck. And I like these. These images are very vibrant and colorful. And again, this is a standard of mine. This is a deck that I usually have on my tarot shelf anyways. But what I find that I've been doing this past month is just holding the cards in my hand, almost like they're a security blanket, and maybe just shuffling them. And I don't even need to do a reading. I'm just the act of shuffling the cards really calms me. It's strange because it's not something I normally do as often as I've been doing. Whatever it takes, right? Whatever it takes to calm me down. I also have the 7 Directions deck. This is it comes in a little fur-lined pouch that I got here. And there's a lot more of these too, but this is what the back of the deck looks like. And this is something I use for daily draws all the time for myself. And sometimes I'll use it as a clarifier card for other people too. And I find the messages again in here are very supportive and positive and reminding you of how much power that you have, that you're the one that's sailing the boat. You're not just along for the ride. Reminding you to take action and set an example for others. Great deck. And then one of my favorite decks that has always been a favorite deck is the Everyday Witch Tarot. This is the back of the Everyday Witch deck, and I'm sure a lot of you have seen this one too. And I did recently got the miniature version of this, and I did a video on that one as well. So, but these images, I just like them. They're just fun. It's a fun deck, yet straight and to the point. I appreciate the art, so some people don't appreciate the art, so that's obviously an obstacle to get past. If you don't appreciate the art, you're not going to appreciate the deck. Definitely a Rider-Waite-Smith version. So those are the decks that I've been using in the month of March. Really my standby decks, the ones that have been, most of them have been in my collection for a very long time, that I've used pretty consistently for quite a while. So what else have I been doing and what's going on here in my neck of the woods? I thought I'd share with you. So I've shared this before, but I'm in California, and right now we are still under stay-at-home orders, and we're not allowed to leave the house unless we're going to an essential place like the grocery store or the pharmacy, or if we have a doctor's appointment, which all of us are staying away from the doctor as much as possible right now. All of the doctor's offices have canceled non-essential doctor's appointments. They have banned, at least in the part of California where I live, they've banned all gatherings of any size that are not essential. So a lot of us are meeting online if we have regular social groups that we get together with, and that's been an interesting change, and I'm curious to see how the world is different after this, because a lot more of my social life is online than it used to be. But it's still nice to be able to connect with, I'm trying to connect regularly with the people that are in my life and be able to still see them visually. It's different. Talking on the phone isn't the same as seeing someone face to face, but doing FaceTime on my phone or using Skype or Zoom does make it a little easier and much more personal to be able to see everyone face to face. They've closed the schools through the end of the school year in the school district where we are. So they're doing what they're calling distance learning or online learning, so that my kiddos aren't going back to school this school year. So we're doing the homeschool thing. Luckily, they're fairly independent and old enough to, for the most part, to keep an eye on that. Still got to remind them to make sure that they're doing it and staying on top of that. So something that's a little different lately is that when you go to the stores everywhere out in public, people are wearing face masks now. They have put in a public order that all restaurant workers, that grocery store workers, all retail, all the workers are required by law to wear a face mask. And they're encouraging the public to wear face masks as well. Every once in a while there's one person that's not, but for the most part, everywhere you go, if you leave the house, people are wearing face masks. Even when they're going for a walk just around the neighborhood, they're wearing face masks. So that's been a little surreal, and definitely every part of our life has been affected and has changed because of this. There's not one bit of my life that is the same as it was before this. So what am I doing to keep busy? Well, I am grateful enough to still have a job. My muggle job is keeping me fairly busy still. It has affected the place where I work a little bit, and I'm expecting that it likely will affect it more as we go on. We're okay right now, but I don't see how in the long term, in the next couple months, I don't know. We'll have to see how it all plays out. I'm trying to be guardedly optimistic there, hoping that things work out, but also kind of planning for things not to. And we're just being really careful about spending money only on food right now. Really is the only thing that we're spending money on. And every dollar that leaves the house, we're really considering carefully before we spend it, because we may need things to last a little longer. I've also been spending time making my YouTube videos and my tarot business. Between that and YouTube, it does keep me fairly busy, and I'm grateful for that. I found last weekend I made a point to set aside one day on the weekend for myself to do nothing, because I feel like it's been go constantly, between the things that I mentioned, and then trying to connect with friends, and then I'm also playing games with the family and trying to exercise and stay active. We're exercising every day here in the house. I felt very busy, and we've also, I guess I should mention too, another thing we're doing is that my mother-in-law is a nurse, and she works with a company who does in-home care, and they were having a hard time getting masks because they're not a hospital. They're low on the totem pole. So I have a sewing machine, and I had a bunch of extra fabric. So my kiddos and I have been working on making masks, and these are some of the ones we made. It was hard to find elastic anywhere, so I did find some hair ties, and I made a little bit longer mask here. We ended up doing 12 inches of fabric across, and then 6 inches this way, and I've got 3 layers of 100% cotton fabric that are in here, and it's machine washable. And then we also, for the ones that we had ribbon, this is actually 9 inches across by 6 inches here, and then the same thing, 3 layers of cotton fabric, and we had some ribbon on here, and we were just sewing masks for her, and we ended up making close to 50 masks for them, which is good, and we're working on some more. So it feels good to do something that is making a difference, and they were really grateful for them. But between all of those things, I started feeling a little overwhelmed, like there was too much going on, and I just needed to just relax a little bit. And so I had set aside one day last weekend to just do nothing, to just sit and rest and watch TV. And one of the things that I've noticed that's really hard is that I'm having a hard time finding books to read and movies to watch, because I remember this from when my dad was really ill too. When your life is way more exciting than any movie or book that's out there, it doesn't hold your interest. And it's exciting, not necessarily in a good way. When my dad was really sick and dying, this is about 10 years ago, we went through that with him. I can remember also having a really hard time finding things to do with my downtime, because nothing held my interest. There was nothing that I could find to do, to watch, to read that was anywhere near as exciting as what was happening in my real life. And I feel a repeat of that as well. So last weekend, when I was trying to find things to do and I had idle hands, and I deliberately didn't have a to-do list and lots of tasks to work on and lots of chores and fixing things around the house like I've been doing lately, I really started spiraling and started thinking about all the worst things that could happen. And for the most part, I'm an upbeat and optimistic person, and I like to try to stay in that space, especially for my family, because I feel like they rely on that from me, to be that person, to be the cheerleader, to keep everybody positive and going in the right direction. And I need that for myself too, and I just couldn't get there. I only lasted probably a couple hours before I can't do this. And I finally just got up and started working on some YouTube stuff, started working on some things for my Muggle job that I could do, started rearranging things, even though they were clean, just, arranging things in a different order. And that was good. So if you're one of those people that, you don't do well with idle hands, then definitely start reaching out more. And I decided I actually reached out to a couple friends and was talking to them on the phone, and that was good to hear about them, and it really pulled me out of myself, and I wasn't quite so self-centered. I could switch gears and start focusing on others, and that was really helpful too. So, and I was able to connect with, there was a meetup group that I used to go to for tarot that we're not meeting now, obviously, and some of us were able to get together online, and that was great to reconnect again and talk to them about how they're doing. And it was nice when I was worried about others and doing what I could to nurture them. I felt better myself. I felt like I had more control over my situation. So those are some things that I've been doing. I really encourage you. I know some of you live alone, and it's harder to find a distraction when you're by yourself and you don't have others to interact with. So definitely reach out to the people in your life that you care about. Don't worry about disturbing somebody else. They're probably not reaching out to you because they're worried about disturbing you. And really, we're all going to do better in this if we're staying connected with each other. For me, sometimes I feel like I don't have any time to myself like I used to. And sometimes that's a little hard, and I just maybe need to step outside for a few minutes and get some sun if the sun's out. It's been raining a lot. I keep looking over here because it's pouring like cats and dogs here right now. And sometimes I just have the opposite problem, first world problems though. I've got a roof over my head, I have food to eat, and I was hoping, because people in California don't experience rain and weather a lot because the weather was so terrible, that I could run to the grocery store and maybe find some toilet paper. I've been going to the store. I've gone to the store probably 4 times over the past 3 weeks trying to find toilet paper. It's been out every time where I go. And I actually found, I tried to go by Costco, which is a big box store, and there was like 50 people in line. I couldn't believe it. Pouring rain. These are all people who are major weather wimps here in California. We are. I was actually born in the Midwest, where there's ice and snow and sleet, and it's hot and muggy in the summertime. So the weather doesn't throw me quite as much as people who were born and raised in this part of the world. But I was kind of expecting that they'd stay home, but no, I think they all thought the same thing. Hey, everybody's going to be staying home. Let's all go out. And there was more people at Costco when I drove by today than I've seen the entire time since this all started. So that was pretty crazy. But I did find a smaller store, and I was able to find a package of toilet paper. So we weren't out, but it was going to be close. And it's a little nerve-wracking when you've gone to the store for the past 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks now, and you've gone to the store that many times already, and it's been out already. I did order some online, but it's going to be here 6 weeks from when I ordered it. So that's not going to help us. That's not going to be here for a while either. So that's just it's been a challenge. And the meat is out everywhere you go. We finally seem to regularly have bread again now. I think people are making more bread now, so that's kind of nice. But we're always, you can't buy more than one thing of meat when you go to the store. You can't buy, they're limiting butter and milk and eggs. You can get, it depends on the store. You can get one thing on that list. You can get butter or milk or eggs. Some places will let you get one of each. And they used to be rationing the bread as well too, but the last couple times I've gone to the grocery store, the bread aisle has been packed, which has been wonderful to see. But canned goods, at the store I went to today, they're limiting it to 2 cans of food per person so that they can make sure that everybody gets some. But I was able to get some paper towels today too, which is good because, hey, if the toilet paper runs out, at least we got something. It's fine. It's fine. We can always take a shower, right? Cut up some clothes. But this has definitely been forcing us to be more frugal, be aware of how vulnerable we all are, and also how connected we are to each other, because this started on one side of the world and here we are on the other side of the world, and all of us are connected to each other. Clearly, no man is an island. That has really been underlined to us lately. So I think negativity and fear spreads just as quickly because we're so connected. So just keep working on staying in the light, raising the vibration, and trying to keep positive for yourself and for everyone else that's out there. Reach out to those neighbors that need your help. If you have something extra, maybe call somebody, when you're talking to them on the phone. Do you need anything? Do you guys have everything you need? Check in with the people that you love and make sure that they've got everything they need. And if you have a little extra something, maybe share that so that your neighbors or your family, they know that you have a little extra if they need it. And then they'll be more likely to let you know when they have a little bit of extra. But we got to stick together. We're all in this together. I've been thinking about you guys a lot. I hope you're all doing well and your families are safe. Hang in there. We're going to get through this. This too shall pass. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it.